So we're going to be going to a very busy city right now, so you'll have something interesting to look at instead of just empty fields. It's Easter in Southern California, and I'm taking you to a like 75% conservative Republican area, so it's a good area where we're going. Alright, so you probably want to know about the video that they took down first, and I'm going to tell you why I'm leaving YouTube. Whoa! You see that bird? What the heck? The bird's like coming towards me. Play that back. That was like a trip. On the camera, I have it on wide-angle lens, so it looks like things are further away, but it was literally in the next lane here. All right, folks, so we're ready to ride. Notice I'm wearing shorts today. An atheist made a video about me and was saying it was stupid for me to wear shorts. Yes, an atheist who is going to go to hell for eternity is telling me, a safe Christian, that it's dangerous to wear shorts on a motorcycle. So let's take the epic Kawasaki Z1000, and I'm going to do a video where I'm probably going to be leaving YouTube, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm basically fed up with YouTube deleting my videos, and if they're going to keep deleting my videos, then why should I even be on YouTube? So it's not 100% decided yet, but let me tell you why I may be leaving YouTube and what YouTube has been doing. And today is Easter, and I'm actually doing the video, but I'm not allowed to even upload the video on YouTube, which I know they're a private company and they have the right to do what they want to do, etc. But they really do discriminate against Christians and Jews. I have documented it. I have evidenced it. There are other people like Dennis Prager who actually sued Google, YouTube because of discrimination. He was reading, Dennis Prager had a video going through the 10 Commandments, and they took that video down because it said do not murder. How stupid can you get? So we're going to be talking about the latest video, and I'm going to show you the video that YouTube took down. And the video they took down was sort of like a trap that I made for YouTube to prove that they discriminate against Christians. So I'm going to tell you about that. Is this guy going this way? No. Okay, good. So let's talk about the video that you can see. I put it on my website. You can see the video that YouTube took down. Another one. These are Christian videos, no profanity in the videos, nothing like that. At www.ShockofGod.com. Shock and then OF and then God.com. And then I have a hilarious story to tell you about when I went to the dentist. So if I'm talking funny, one of my back wisdom tooth had to be taken out. Not my wisdom tooth, but near the wisdom. Tell you something funny about that. This will be a funny video. But let's talk about the video they just removed. And happy Easter, by the way, you guys. And then we're going to talk about why I may be leaving YouTube, and you will know 100% for sure in about 3 months if I've decided to leave YouTube. So it's very windy today. Look at the palm tree. So We're going to be going to a very busy city right now, so you'll have something interesting to look at instead of just empty fields. It's Easter in Southern California. And I'm taking you to a like 75% conservative Republican area. So it's a good area where we're going. Alright, so you probably want to know about the video that they took down first, and I'm going to tell you why I'm leaving YouTube. Whoa, whoa! You see that bird? What the heck? The bird's like coming towards me. Play that back. That was like a trip. On the camera, I have it on wide-angle lens, so it looks like things are further away, but it was literally in the next lane here. Let's not let the bird get us off focus here. So let's talk about the video they took down. So, whoa, what the heck? A piece of rope or a strap? All types of stuff today. So, YouTube, as you know, has algorithms, and they have the software that analyzes certain words you say, trigger words. And when you say any of those trigger words, I'm not talking about profanity, I'm talking about trigger words, woke, W-O-K-E, woke YouTube will take your video down. You can tell the truth on a video, but if YouTube doesn't like that truth, they will strike your video down. This is something out of like communism, Marxism, socialism. And after Biden won, I've noticed it's getting worse, a lot worse. So here's what I did on the video. Go to www.ShockofGod.com to see it. And what I did is I went on YouTube and I found videos, hundreds of them, talking about one topic that YouTube does not want you to talk about. I'll give you a hint. How can I say this word? Okay, basically, it's what's in the news every night. Every single night it's in the news. Are the numbers going up? Are the numbers going down? You know what I'm talking about. So there's two sides of this story, okay? And I found a lot of videos on YouTube of people talking about a danger, even death, about what I'm talking about. Now, here's how I know YouTube literally is picking on me. The only thing I can figure out is because I'm a Christian and I do say that they're full of crap, which they are. They're straight from the pit of hell of the Antichrist. Just a horrible, horrible, sinful organization. But I know God said go out into all the world and preach the gospel, so here I am. So, in this video, rather than me do the video, I just simply show thumbnails of other videos on YouTube that talk about what I've been warning people about, and all of those videos are still up. However, the video, look at this sign up here. It says, Bible is true, amen. The video that I made was taken down, yet all I'm doing in the video is pointing like Mick Jagger. You know how Mick Jagger always points when he sings? Love is just a shot away, and he's always pointing. So they took that video down. they took another one of my videos down, another one, and that's it. They're gonna kick me off of YouTube. Anytime I open up my sweet, cuddly, huggable Christian mouth, they take down the video. Okay. I can do motorcycle videos, but if I talk about anything in the Bible, Bible passages, you know, or what I'm talking about now. Anyways, here's what you do. You gotta see that video, and what is YouTube so paranoid schizophrenic about? Here's what's weird. I got that same video and I put it on the other top 3 video social media sites, and they all allow it. But no, YouTube is hiding stuff from you. They have an agenda, a globalist agenda, and they're not a publishing service where you do a video and they publish it. They really have an agenda. So anyways, let's talk about why I'm going to leave YouTube. Now, sometimes people get fed up with it and they leave, and you'll hear people saying, well, you're just giving up. You're like giving in to them. That's what they want. They want you to leave. And you know, there is some truth to that. But I wouldn't leave YouTube because of that. I wouldn't give up. However, what if, this is the good news, what if there was another social media website better than YouTube coming out, better than Facebook, better than Twitter, Facebook, YouTube combined? What if there was another conservative, pro-free speech, pro-freedom social media site coming out that respected Christians, that respected conservatives, that respected Republicans, that respected constitutionalists, that respected people that believe in those glorious words that our rights come from God and that all men are created equal? What if it was not socialist run? YouTube, they're just globalists. Google, they're just globalist socialists. And let me tell you, they're making a lot of money from you guys. All those ads that you constantly see, they're making a lot of money from you. I don't make a penny from YouTube, Google, by the way. But they're making a lot of money from us, from your talents, from your hours upon hours of videos that you guys make. You have a special talent, and you're actually producing the product that YouTube then distributes and makes money off of it. Now, Donald Trump has announced, and he's already met with some big wig techies. Hold on. That he is starting a social media platform. And let me tell you something. It is going to take a huge, let me say it like Donald Trump, huge market share. Huge market share away from Google, Facebook, Twitter. And if he comes out with it where you're allowed to, this is going to be my deciding factor, that you're allowed to upload video, I'm out of here. I am going to tell Google, YouTube to go to hell and back to the pit of the Antichrist where they belong, because these videos I'm making are constantly being taken down. And plus, you know, I know we gotta live in the world, but hold on, this is like a weird vehicle. What the heck is this thing? Look at it. Is this thing? Never seen one of these before. I'm telling you, I thought it said RAV4 on the back. Let me see. MV4. I still don't, if anyone knows what that is, leave it in the comments. I have no idea what that thing. But this is a brilliant idea. This is what we have to do as Christians. We start our own companies, like Chick-fil-A, Christian ran company, In-N-Out Burger. You know, we start our own companies and not use the secular world. I mean, I know, like I was saying before I saw that weird automobile, look at these two dogs looking at me. Hi, little poochie. I know we live in the world, but we're not of the world. So anyways, I'm like fed up. They totally discriminate, and let me tell you something. If that happens and I do leave YouTube, I'm gonna leave a parting message on my channel. Like, I'll keep the channel up. I'm sure YouTube will shut it down, but I'm gonna have an open letter, and I already talked to a guy from the media that has contacted me, a reporter, a local reporter out here in Southern California, of why I'm moving to this different platform. And I did support Donald Trump. I do support Donald Trump, but that's not why I'm going to this this platform. Not just from a political reason, because Donald Trump has always supported my Christian values. He was pro-Christian, pro-life, and he's always been supportive and of what I believe. So if there was another major platform that could compete with YouTube, Google, and take away their market share, I would definitely. I got to get back over here and do a little quick turnaround, and then we're going to get to a real crowded area. Oh no, it's right here in the left. Old Town Front Street, I think it says this way. I would definitely go with that one. So when I go, I'll give you my new, more where I can speak at ease, more pro-freedom social media website. So watch for that. In about 3 months, Trump is going to come out with one that look like that flag. It's going to be pro-freedom and pro-conservative, and we won't have to put up with YouTube's crap anymore. You know, something's wrong where a man, yeah, I said it, can dress up as a woman and go on YouTube, and YouTube protects that crap. But if you say it's a sin, you're struck down. Something's wrong with our society. Something's wrong if someone, some religious nut job can go on YouTube and say, look, whatever's your truth is your truth, and whatever is her truth is her truth, and everyone finds God in their path the way they want to find God in their path. Something's wrong when YouTube allows that crap, but when you say, no, there's one way, only one way to God, and that is Jesus Christ, and then they strike you down, something's... Is this where I'm going? Something's wrong with that. Hey, we're here. Okay, watch. This place is always pumping. So I'm going to tell you my funny story about the dentist. Okay. So now there's this new thing called Asian hate. Yes, folks. First it was the Mexicans. Remember a long time ago, I guess it's Easter, everyone's still at home. A lot of these places, establishments closed up. See if it gets more crowded down here. A lot of bikers come down here. Go ahead, brother. There's a great biker barbecue place down here where everyone goes. So I go to the, okay, so basically I had this back tooth, and years ago I got a filling in it, those white pearl fillings that they pour in, you know. And I guess I forgot I had that filling. The dentist did such a good job. And there was a little piece of the filling, like the drip of it. Go ahead, brother. No problem. I mean, look how big that dog is. And I was picking at this filling. I didn't know it was like the filling, right? Forgot. So I was picking at this filling with my tooth, and I mean with my thumb on my tooth, and like an idiot, I go, oh yeah, I also, what is it, popcorn or something? And I pulled it right out, and it was my filling I was pulling out. So now the tooth had cracked down the side, like chipped. So I went to see the dentist, and he was an Asian dentist, and when I went to see him, he spoke Asian. He was like, and he was freaking out. Oh, no problem. Happy Easter. Happy Easter, brother. Thank you. And he was like freaking out, like when he saw, he's like, so then he said to me, yeah, this one needs to go see the tooth fairy. So I go in there, they said, look, we're going to take it out, the extraction, and they're going to put like an implant tooth in, a really expensive implant tooth. But I got a good price on it, actually. I shopped around, and this place was a good price, right? And so, you know, when you're sitting in the dentist chair, they say, oh, do you want to watch the TV? What channel, 7 or 11? So I said 11, thinking it was going to be Fox News or something conservative. And but it was not Fox News. It was some leftist news station, and they were talking about Asian hate and all the crimes, which were horrible, all the crimes against Asians. That's like the latest thing. Remember, it was BLM, Black Lives Matter. What is it now? ALM, Asian Lives Matter, you know. It's always got to be just about one race, doesn't it, folks? It's how stupid mankind is. So, nice car. Look at this motorcycle. So the dentist and I, we're going to go back here and see if there's any cars. I mean, classic cars and motorcycles. The dentist and I are there. This guy going across, this other guy, yeah. Okay, I'm going. Thank you. So the dentist and I are watching this, and they're showing like a little Asian lady being pushed down. Never once do I see sport bikes here. What does the guy got to do to get a sport bike over here? I'm going to open up the visor so you can hear the band playing. They got a great band here. And in the meantime, the Asian guy's, dentist guy's trying to yank my tooth out, right? And it, you know, I take a lot of vitamins and everything, and my tooth's like real strong, stuck in there. Okay, hold on. Let's let you hear the music here, and then I'll get back to my tooth being extracted. Figures I'd come here when there's no music. One sport bike. Okay. So he's pulling on my tooth, and at the same time we're hearing these really horrific stories of Asians being assaulted, and he's pulling on my and it's just not coming out, and he's going, I hear him like getting and he's listening to the TV, and I kind of want to say, can we shut the TV off? Like, he's taking his anger out on me. Look, I don't have any Asian hate yet, but you're getting me there with your teeth yanking. And you know, I'm all Novocained up, so I can't feel anything, but it was the worst extraction I've ever had in my life. 45 minutes of him trying to get this tooth out. And then what had happened, my tooth had cracked and it was below the jawline. Okay, I'm going to get you some high-speed stuff. So he had to dig down under my jaw to pull out that little, you know how your tooth, the bottom's like that? You ever see the pictures? Well, that part's below your jawline, like in your jaw. And so he had to dig down in there and dig with the drill, you know, that shoots the water out of it so it doesn't get like too hot and stuff. All right, here we go. And then I'll leave you with like an Easter message here that I was thinking when I was reading scripture the other night. And finally, I mean, he was pulling on the tooth so hard, it was practically getting me up out of the out of the chair. I've never had such a horrible experience in my life in the dentist office. So, you know, you don't want to be a wussy, so I'm like trying to act like the Punisher. You know, he can take 3 bullets, all this, get beat up, and he's like good with it. I'm like, oh, I'm good with it. I'm not like saying anything. And the dental assistant lady said, are you okay? I'm like, oh yeah. And but I was like, man, I hope he's able to get out. So finally, he says, and the whole time Asian hate's going on, and he's in the background, and it's horrific Asian crimes. And he said, can we shut this off? I can't concentrate. He actually says that. And I go, yeah, but taking it out his anger on me. So anyways, he got the tooth out. And then he gives you all these pain pills. I did take 1 pain pill. I didn't take any more. You don't want to get addicted to those super opioid pain pills. I had to take 1 because it was excruciating afterwards. I knew it was going to be excruciating because he's like, you may feel some pressure. Listen, you've heard the joke. If a doctor says, look, you may feel some pressure, buckle up, because you're really going to be in pain soon. That's code word for it's going to hurt like hell. So he's like, you may feel some pressure. I'm like grabbing onto the dental chair. Okay, so I had this atheist say that I was stupid for riding with shorts. You know, I have shorts on. I have to get these legs tan. Seriously. I'm like in pants all the time. I don't like these pasty white legs. I gotta get some color to these, keep them tan. So, and then I thought, this was Godless Engineer said this. So Godless Engineer, it's Easter, and I know you and I make videos back and forth against each other, and I want you to know I really do love and care for you, brother. I don't like what you're doing, and I don't like that where you're going, and I don't like that you're leading others, young minds full of mush, astray. But it's Easter, and when you said, you know, Shock shouldn't be wearing shorts, you know, on a motorcycle, that's dangerous, I had to laugh. And so this part of the video is for you, because Jesus talked about people like you when he said, you hypocrites, you strain the gnat, but you swallow the camel. What did Jesus mean when he said that? I'm going to tell you. Jesus said, look, if your right hand causes you to sin, if your right hand offendeth thee, cut it off, cast it into the fire if you have to. You're better off to enter the next life lame or maimed than to have your whole body, soul cast into hell. What did Jesus mean when he said that? He didn't really mean go cut off your hand. He's saying do everything you can to avoid hell. Listen, Godless Engineer. Sweet, gentle, meek, loving Jesus said there's a hell. And let me tell you what else sweet, loving, gentle Jesus said. He warned that we should fear someone. I'm going to ask you, who do you think Jesus is talking about? Jesus said, look, don't worry about the person that could destroy the body. Like, don't worry about the semi that can run me over and destroy the body. He said, don't fear that. He goes, I'll tell you who you should fear. Yes. Sweet, meek, humble Jesus said, I'll tell you who you should fear. Fear the one that can cast both your body and soul into hell. That's who you should fear. And so when the godless engineer said, you know, don't listen to Shock what he says, he wears shorts. Well, of course, I am safer than you are, my friend. I know where I'm going. You don't know where you're going. Remember how Jesus said, look, what does it profit you to even gain the whole world and lose your soul? So when you think about it, gutless engineer, don't you feel like a fool talking about me wearing shorts when you're on your way to hell? We don't want you to go to hell. We love you. We hate what you do because it's madness. And another thing, do you know that godless engineer cannot deny the resurrection of Jesus Christ because he believes life comes from non-life? Well, hell, if you believe, let's get on it. If you believe that life can come from non-life, you must believe that Jesus can rise from the dead. After all, isn't it easier to believe something that was at least living before can live again than something that was never living can come to life from non-life? Certainly no atheist can deny the resurrection of Jesus Christ if they're saying that life can come from non-life. If you say life comes from non-life, you cannot deny the resurrection of Jesus Christ. No, you are inextricably bound to admit that yes, Jesus could rise from the dead. So it is time, like Jesus said. You remember this parable, godless engineer, when Jesus said, look, get the log out of your eye before you get the little splinter out of your brother's eye. Sweet, gentle, meek, loving Jesus said that. What did Jesus mean? I'm going to tell you. He's telling you, don't worry about Shock wearing shorts when you got a bigger problem. Like the shorts is like a splinter, but the log is you going to hell. The log is you turning people away from a loving, righteous, just God. The log is you being so foolish as to claim that life can come from non-life when we have no evidence that that has ever happened. And then I have one last message for you, and this will end our Easter message. One time Jesus said, look, do not forsake these little ones. And he said, don't cause them to stumble. And in the context, there were some children there. Unsaved children, unsaved people. In this parable where Jesus is saying, don't cause them to stumble, what he then warns them what's going to happen to you if you lead these people astray, away from God. He said, because if you do, he says, truly I say to you, my Father, their angels behold the face of my Father every day. So these people that you're turning away from Jesus Christ, who wants nothing but good for them, and you're pointing them to Satan instead, who's the atheist daddy, Jesus said, you know what? It'd be better off if you got a millstone and tied it around your neck and cast yourself into the sea. So, godless engineer, either you need to be quiet about me wearing shorts and realize that you're on the wrong side of danger, or you need to be shopping around for millstones. You have been warned. And that's what Easter's about, folks. We could avoid going to hell. You can use reason and logic. How can godless engineer claim that life came from non-life? We've never seen that. Now, we have seen people technically dead come back to life. Anyone can believe that someone that was dead came back to life. And of course, since God exists, anyone can believe that God can bring someone that was alive back to life again. And if godless engineer is claiming that life comes from non-life, how can he, with his millstone necklace, claim that God doesn't exist? And you know what? I've been looking at godless engineer's cheeks lately, and they're really big. And I think he's hiding proof and evidence for his atheism in his cheeks. Because I've been asking him well over a year, over and over, and he keeps avoiding this. What proof and evidence do you have, godless engineer? I want you guys to go ask him this question in his comments section. And watch, he won't reach into those cheeks of his and answer it. He's got to be hiding the answer in his cheeks. They're so big. Here's the question. What proof and evidence can you provide that would finally, at last, prove that atheism is accurate and correct? Do you know that he has admitted that he has no proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct? Wow. How someone could live by blind faith in a worldview that life comes from non-life, even though there's no scientific evidence of that either, is foolishness in its purest form. Anyways, I love you guys. He is risen. He is risen indeed. Sometimes I'll have a Christian shirt on and someone will say, so, you're a Christian? Yeah, and they're like, well, aren't there contradictions in the Bible? I said, I've read the Bible, I've read the Bible many times. I haven't found any contradiction. Well, I mean, come on, you believe someone came back from the dead? I said, I believe that based on the evidence. We have the appearances. People said that they saw Jesus Christ alive immediately after his crucifixion. Over 500 people witnessed him alive. Even in Paul's writings, he says, they're alive today. You can go talk to them. We have women that are the first at the tomb. You know, Christianity started really with women as the first people spreading the gospel. In that time of male chauvinism and bigotry, that wouldn't happen with any of the pagan religions. But here God uses women to spread the good news that he is risen. And then sometimes our atheist friends will dishonestly say, well, the story was changed over the years. Can't use that excuse, because immediately they were proclaiming that Jesus had risen from the dead. There was an immediate proclamation that he had risen. So there was no time for legendary embellishment to occur. And then we have the voluntary suffering. People that claim to see Jesus resurrect believed it so much that they were willing to die for the truth of that belief. So an atheist would have to tear down all those arguments and say it was just, I guess, ghost or something that they were seeing. And then, of course, we have the empty tomb, which even Jesus' enemies admitted that, yes, his tomb was empty. Another thing, too, I was talking about this today. We were celebrating Easter, having a meal. And I was talking about this at the table. I was saying, you know, people don't get it. People that don't research history. The Bible is a history book of historic events. It's more than a history book, but it's also a history book. In many universities, you're allowed to use the Bible as part of the curriculum for actual history. You know, you have the sciences, and you have history, and then you have biology. You're actually allowed to use the Bible in many universities for that. But I was talking about this today at the table, and people have never read Scripture. It has been prophesied since the beginning of creation that Jesus was going to come to earth. It's not like a person named Jesus just came to earth. Everything has been announcing Jesus coming to earth. Remember when Adam and Eve believed the lie of Satan, and God killed the two animals, and he got the skins, and he covered Adam and Eve with the skins. That was just a type of covering of their sins, a prelude to Jesus Christ, how he died and he eliminates our sins. Remember how God told Satan, I'm going to put enmity between you and the woman. You will bruise his heel, but he will crush your head. He was talking about Jesus Christ right there in Genesis. Remember when God was leading the people with Moses out of captivity of Egypt, and Egypt, as we know, is a type of the world, and the people were in the desert, very dangerous area, and they were getting bit by snakes and just horrible pain. And God told Moses, get a bronze serpent and fashion it to the staff and hold it up in the air, so when the people look upon it as you're holding it up there, they will be healed of their snake bite. Do you ever see an ambulance or pharmaceutical type symbol? You'll see that snake going around the staff. Next time you see an ambulance, look on the back of it and you'll see that. That's from the Bible. Well, Jesus is talking about how that was also pointing to him also. Sweet, gentle, meek, loving Jesus said, yeah, just like Moses held up the staff in the desert, when I am lifted up, he's talking about when he's going to be lifted up on the cross, he goes, I will draw all men to me. Remember when God was showing what he was going to do with his son, Jesus Christ, and he told Abraham, get your son, Isaac, and bring him up to this mountain, and there you're going to sacrifice him to me. And Abraham has such an intent, close relationship with the Father that he's like, okay, he's got to be showing me something. I'm going to do it. So Abraham brings him up there, and what that is, that's also another prelude of God saying, see, this is what I'm going to do with my son. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send him to earth. Isn't God awesome that we have this great chasm between us and his perfect holiness? And God sees us from afar off, and he sees us there, and he says, don't worry, I got you. I'll come to you. And Jesus comes to earth in the tintly flesh of man, lives a perfect, sinless life, and dies for us. So Jesus refers to that. He said, just like how Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, so when I am lifted up, I will draw all men to me. And remember in Egypt when the Pharaoh wouldn't let the people go and God said, I'm going to send a death angel through this area, and I'm going to wipe out all these people, like the firstborn. But if you get you get blood from a lamb, and you put it on the doorpost, I will pass by, and I will not bring my judgment. I will not bring judgment upon that house. So, many of you guys know I used to be an atheist, but there was no proof and evidence that atheism was accurate and correct. I've been asking atheists all over the world, just give me some. They haven't been able to. I'm sorry, if I'm going to, like Jesus said, you know, what does it profit you to gain the whole world but lose your soul? If I'm going to risk my whole eternity on something, I gotta have evidence. And we get that in Jesus Christ. We don't get it in atheism. Happy Easter, guys. I love you. God bless you. See you soon.